Hello and welcome to HRI Gaming, where today we shall be talking about Daedalus. So this is a video that is specifically focusing on some of the maths and reasoning behind having two Daedaluses compared to having one in the old patch and the new patch, the difference or lack thereof. So, between 6.85 and 6.86, they changed two things about the Daedalus. They decreased the crit damage by 20% and increased the proc chance by 5%. After doing some math with the new numbers, with two Daedaluses, I realized that there is actually nearly no difference in damage output across the span of just several hits. I advise that in reality, the Daedalus is proc based, so you're not guaranteed this damage difference. For all we know, it could proc 1,000,000 times in a row, but statistically speaking that's improbable. It's really improbable. But yeah, so the first thing I did was I calculated the proc chance of the old Daedalus. So the stem and leaf, of course it's a stem and leaf diagram. So the tree diagram you see here shows us the old Daedalus and its proc chances, 25 over 100. You can simplify them down, but for multiplicative reasons I did not do that. But yeah, so 25% chance of it just procking. It won't double proc and stack, or there's no interaction if it procs twice, so it doesn't matter. And if it procs the first time and doesn't proc the second time, it still procs because the first one procced. That's how Daedalus works. If it doesn't proc the first time, second time it's given a small chance to proc again, and that equates to about 18.75%. So in total, Daedalus will proc 43.75% of the time in the old patch. In the new patch, from this diagram, you can see it procs a total of 51% of the time, because there's a 30% chance of the initial proc and then a 21% chance of the next proc. So let's now figure out what the damage output changes, which should be nothing because I've already done the math. So I said arbitrarily that every hit you do does exactly or around 100 damage. 100 damage, you take 10 hits. Okay, 4.9 of those hits will not be a crit, therefore 490 damage on the new Daedalus. 5.1 of them will be a crit, therefore you get 1,122 damage, a total of 1,612 damage. Now the the old Daedalus, should I say, 5.625 of those attacks would not have been crits, therefore 562.5 of the damage becomes normal hits. That's how much damage you did. 43.75 of those would have been a crit, giving you 1,050 crit damage, and giving you a total of 1,612.5. Yes, there is a 0.5 increase. Now this is damage per hit. Sorry, damage per 10 hits. You divide these by 10 to get damage per hit. So on average you would get about 161.2 damage and 161.25 damage respectively. So it's just as good as it was before. The only thing is now it looks like it's doing more damage because you're getting the red crits more often, not actually because you're dealing more damage. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, whatever, comment, whatever. Tell me if I've done something wrong. I would happily want to update this video with some correct information if there is any. Other than that, see ya!